Yo, what's shaking, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of our Friday prediction show brought to you by PrizePicks. They will deposit up to 100% of $100 on your first deposit. Just use the promo code OrangeBloods. We've been using PrizePicks all season long, and I'm a little bit addicted to the game, if I may say so myself. I really do enjoy it. I've always avoided the daily fantasy. Alex, I know that must make your ears bleed to hear that I've been so cautious. I have never gone in both feet into daily, but PrizePicks has me interested in all of the mores and lesses and all of the sports. Go check it out. Again, use the promo code OrangeBloods, and PrizePicks will hook you up, and you can see what the fuss is all about. We've had a good time with it. Fellas, we are.
But can I also say it's not like there's no game theory with this, right? It's not like you got to put together the roster and think about ownership percentage.
Correct.
You everything. It's a different way to sort of play. You could just pick whether the player goes more or less than the various numbers that have been proposed by the site, and you can just take those and stack them together for force multipliers. As far as
I love the idea of me just being able to pick out what I think's the best thing I think is going to happen.
Yeah, no, yeah. Right. Yeah. It's a whole different ball of wax for sure. It's a ton of fun.
And no, you're right. Go ahead.
You're right. Because I, not to mention other ones by name, but like to Alice's point, like I already, have to deal with my fantasy team. And now I've got to, I got to deal with another quote unquote fantasy team. Then I got to figure out how much money to buy for this particular guy. I'm like, man, there's a lot of work. I don't love this. Now I'm playing 5 different fantasy games at one time. This is just real simple, and I enjoy it way, way, way more.
Well, look, I don't know how simple it's going to be for us to make predictions today on West Virginia and Texas taking place tomorrow at DKR. Alex, I'll come to you first. We were just talking about the numbers associated with this game. What do the Sharks think this game played? What do they think this thing looks like on Saturday?
I think they think it's going to be a 36, probably like the implied total is like 36.5 to 26.75 or what did we say it was? 36.25 to 26, something like 36-26, somewhere in there, right? It's a 9.5 point spread. I think it's 62 point over under. There was a 63, whatever. It's somewhere in there, 30, 35, 36, 37 to 24, 25, 26. To me, I look at it and I feel, are we doing our prediction?
Yeah.
I look at it and I wonder, there are a few things I wonder. I wonder, is Xavier Worthy going to be healthy enough? It looks like it's going to be Hudson Card. Can they get that connection going? Can Texas get better play out of its offensive line, specifically out of its guards? I'm a lot more confident in better offensive line play from the left side of the interior. The right side of the interior is going to continue to be a problem as long as Cole Hudson is in there. Yeah, I think he's going to be a good developmental player, but the key word there is developmental. And if they don't do some things to mask it, especially in the outside zone run game, I feel like they could be in trouble. As Ketch was talking about earlier, West Virginia, I can't think of the name. Are those 2 defensive linemen brothers? Are they brothers?
One of them is still around.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the Stills guys is still there.
Dante Stills is the guy that's still around.
You got that guy who can, that guy can one gap and penetrate upfield. I think that, and I talked about it on the modcast yesterday, if Texas can get it going with some of the pin and pull concepts that they were able to do running to the boundary and sort of these outside zone sort of, I know pin and pull is technically not an outside zone type of scheme, right? But it's the same running lane for Bijan Robinson. And whenever you get these guys out there, especially going to the right and going to the boundary side, whenever Christian Jones is the uncovered man who can just pound down on that 3 technique, allowing Cole Hudson to get outside, take those blocks inside out with him and Jake Majors in that alleyway up the alley right there in the boundary. We saw Bijan on that, like, it's just like the seas parted and Bijan became Bijan again. Whenever these 3 techniques continue to penetrate upfield across their play side shoulder of really either guard these last 2 games, that thing gets turned inside, and all of a sudden you're running inside zone 2 or 3 technique with everybody else blocking outside zone, and it doesn't work. It makes it look discombobulated. The run game cannot look discombobulated here, and I just know that when they look at film, they're going to see that. They're going to see the same thing that I did. Coach Flood is going to adjust in their run game. They're going to get that going. For that reason, I think the run game can get going here. I do not trust this Texas football team or this Texas coaching staff any farther than I could throw them as far as in-game guys. Excellent recruiters, excellent Coach Flood, excellent coaching up his position group. I think the great position coaches, in-game adjustments, in-game management. I still need to see it from this staff. I give them the benefit of the doubt with absolute zero. So it's with a little bit of trepidation. I'm going to say this. I think Texas wins. I think it's a close win. I don't think they get to their implied team total of 36, 37. I think I could see Texas scoring 31 points here. I think it's going to be a squeaker. I think that West Virginia is probably going to be able to dink and dunk them up and down the football field. Texas is not good at dealing with these teams that just pepper them over and over again with these targets. We saw what's his name? Was it Miles Davis last week? Number 1 for Tech. If Texas gets a lot of plays like that and they're just having to come downhill and wrap up on these 6 and 7 yard completions over and over again, it's going to be close. It's going to be a squeaker. I'm saying Texas 31, West Virginia 27.
Wow. Well, everybody get their money's worth on Saturday if it turns out to be that type of game. Onward, do you see it that close?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to lean towards a little bit close. I'm going to do the thing that I probably shouldn't do, but I'm going to give this Texas team the benefit of the doubt. And it seems like we do that all the time, year after year, game after game, in somehow, some way. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say 34-31, Texas. I'm going to give them the edge because they're at home. I'm going to give them the edge that there'll be more utilization of Bijan. Maybe a little bit more creativity out of the Wildcat package. Maybe a little bit more backs against the wall. We need to get this thing done. I mean, this game that every game is a must win, and people say every game is a must win. But this game they can't lose two. Especially back-to-back Big 12 games, not going into Texas OU. That's just a formula for disaster. I don't love catch. We talked about this on Thursday. I don't love hearing about a players only meeting this week. Not something that that's usually doesn't spell good things when we hear about that. And maybe it does for a little bit, but I'm not convinced, on it. We got to wait and see what this offensive line looks like. We're going to go against teams that, Steve Sarkisian has 7 wins, right? Catch in his career here at Texas. 4 of them are against non-Power 5 teams. There's only 3 that are left against, Power 5 programs. So, we've got to see, what happens here. I'm going to say 34-31 catch, but if I'm telling you, if you say bet money on it, I wouldn't bet a ton on it. But I'm just going to tell you that's how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But if it doesn't happen, then I'm totally off as far as that's concerned.
I think we're looking at a lower scoring football game on Saturday. And I think it's funny. I don't know that I like neither of the quarterbacks that are playing in this game are high-level quarterbacks at this point. And I just wonder if we're going to see first 1-21 type of game breakout where I know people are anticipating this thing in Vegas is if this thing plays into the 30s. Man, I just don't know that I believe Texas is going to get there. And part of me just thinks there's no way Texas lets JT Daniels come into their crib and dictate the terms of this game. I'm also giving this defense the benefit of the doubt on War. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get a fourth quarter game. And to pick Texas means we are giving them some benefit of the doubt because these are the type of games that they typically have not been able to win under Steve Sarkisian. I'm rolling the dice. I'm going to say that on Saturday, they take a step forward towards being the type of team that can win these types of games moving forward. Otherwise, this season is going to go down the tubes real quick. I'll go Texas 23, West Virginia 19. Weird score.
So we all have this going on. Oh no, Anwar's got it going slightly over. You and I both have it going under. You and I both have it going under.
I've got it going way under.
Yeah, way under.
I got it way under. Yeah. But that's how little I believe in these offenses right now. And part of it is, look, when we transitioned over to PrizePicks right now, there's no entries for Texas players because nobody knows who in the hell's going to play. Yeah. You can't have a number for Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really have a quarterback up yet.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could put Bijan's entries in for Saturday.
Yeah,
but it's really hard to do that when the rest of the team, you don't know what's around him.
Well, you can't do – that's just projection, right? Like when you do fantasy stuff or like forecasting or modeling in sports, you do these projections based on the number of plays, the number of what you have to do is you take the number of plays and then you go out. You go with the opportunity share, the touch share, the target share, all the rest of it, right? And you extrapolate from that number of plays. And so if there's players you take out of there, it's the law of the conservation of targets, the law of the conservation of touches. They by their very nature have to go to somebody else. And so it's harder to make those projections whenever you don't know who the other pieces are in place, because all of a sudden you take this one guy out and all of a sudden your projection is really, really bad. You're going to have people getting all over the more or the less if you go about that wrong. So I think these are ones they'll probably get up a little bit later once they have more information about who's in and who's out.
If without seeing the numbers, is there a potential more or less involving a Texas player that you instinctively will lean towards this week, even without seeing the number? For instance, I don't know what the Jordan Whittington numbers in the entry for him will look like, but
it'll be 4 catches.
It'll be 4 catches like it was a week ago since he landed on 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet the yardage is around 55 to 60.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It'll be 56.5 or something. Yeah.
Which makes me think I'll take the more this week over the less with regards to Jordan Whittington. Don't really know about the rest of the players. Like you could do a lot worse at continuing to bet the more on Bijan.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the lock would be, and they'll offer this at some point, over a half a rushing touchdown or more than half a rushing touchdown for Bijan. If you can get it on more on half of a receiving / rushing / passing, sometimes they offer those. That would be even better. But you got to think, especially if you think Texas is going to stay in this game, Texas is going to win this football game, that's going to involve a Bijan Robinson touchdown. So I think for me, that would be I think that'll probably be offered. And to me, that would be the first one that I'm going and clicking more on before I add it over into my slip.
Anwar, you got one that just jumps out at you?
No, you guys did good. I mean, I would definitely say that because I wouldn't know what to guess as far as the quarterback is concerned. The Jordan Whittington thing was crazy because he had 4 going into halftime, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh, man, we are good to go.
I still have not gotten over that. I wish you would let that go.
Yeah, shots. I would say this with the stuff about Worthy maybe being up in the air, if he does come back in, who knows? Like he could be a little bit limited. Right. I think that Hudson Card would prefer to throw it to JT Sanders over throwing it to guys like, Tariq Milton or some of these other lower level wide receivers that come in. If they put something up for more or less Jatavion Sanders is something like 18.5 yards or something like that, I think I would love the more on that as well. I think you start getting up in the 20s or 29.5 or something, you feel a little bit weird about it. But I think anything like, wouldn't you guys feel good about anything for JT Sanders in this kind of game? Maybe 18 to 24 or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd be surprised if he makes the game.
Okay.
Maybe, Roschon.
I think he made the game in week 1.
Roschon's somebody that I wonder how his outlook looks this weekend because they just got caught last week with not enough offensive plays. I mean, Sarkisian talked about it with regards to the amount of touches that Bijan had and, tried to rationalize it inside of 60 plays. And he got him as many times with like 25% Alex. Like, I just wonder what this game looks like in terms of the number of offensive plays that Texas has.
I'm done with these Roshan Johnson Moores on his rushing. I'm done with them. I'm just like they're gonna get rid of that crappy Wildcat, and that's kind of what we were hoping for last time, and it didn't work. This is a game where you got to get back to feeding Bijan Robinson. This is, dude, like we're not talking about Bijan Robinson possibly going into a Heisman season this year, right? Like we're in it. This is happening right now. We are in it. So since we're in it, you got one of the best running backs in the nation. We can't just keep saying that and saying, why is he getting 17 touches? It's like that can't continue. Sark knows it can't continue. He knows it looks ridiculous to everybody who's watching. So I'm like for Roshan, if they put up some kind of 43.5 or whatever on his rushing yards like they did last week, I'm taking that less. Absolutely.
The one guy that I have not yet seen PrizePicks list numbers for is Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels.
Oh, that was our moneymaker last week, Catch.
I don't care where they set the number. More.
You're gonna be conflicted whenever Texas plays Kansas this year, dude.
I won't be. I'll be more. That'll be the least conflicted I've been the entire season. No, seriously. PrizePicks is going to catch up on Daniels in terms of establishing the right fantasy number for him, and
he got his more by the time we were halfway through the second quarter. Catch. I'm like, Catch
again. He does it every week.
Yeah,
every week.
Amazing. Yeah,
it was like 23.5 fantasy score last week. And he had that easily by halftime. So you can't enter a more on Jalen Daniels enough. For myself, Alex Dunlap, see, on more, I caught myself there at the end. And PrizePicks for being a fantastic partner. We'll see you guys on Saturday for the postgame show. Take care of each other. Later.